Thank you, Nigel. I acknowledge Nigel as one of my mentors since I got into the movement of Indigenous peoples. And of course, alongside Myrna, Vicky, and my little sister, Hindu. So, I just want to acknowledge and say thank you for this invitation. This is one of the best things that happened to me this year. To be in Rome, to see the Pope and his cardinals here. I am just so happy. And of course, to see all of you, because we only communicated on emails and all that. And once you're here and then you see, we become one big family. I am so, so grateful. So I just want to say also that the bad thing about presenting almost last is that everybody has already said what you would have said. So I'm just going to have some talking points and then straight to the maybe. And if there are any questions, maybe there will be time for questions, and I'm happy to answer some questions. But to be honest with you, having heard from Elifraha, from Kimaren, from Hindu, and all of us being pastoralists, issues are almost the same. And then Indigenous people all over the world have the same issues. I'm listening to all of you, and I am so amazed at how much information and how much reciprocity of knowledge that we have, all of us. So I just want to start by quoting the Pope yesterday, something that touched my heart. He said, God has made us stewards and not masters of the planet. Pope Francis, 14th of March, 2024. That really touched my heart. God is the master, and we are the stewards, and that's probably why we're here. So I just want to reiterate the fact that traditional indigenous knowledge is what has brought the planet to where it is today. It is the indigenous people who have kept it. And if we talk even about the animals, the flora and fauna, everything that people were presenting about, even food processes and all that, who preserved all that? When we say that we have animals in the parks, who preserved them for you to come and close them away? If it were not for indigenous people, definitely there's nothing that we are doing. It is this knowledge that has helped preserve 80% of the biodiversity and ecosystems that we see today. It is through this preservation that science has something to research on, therefore confirming that indigenous traditional knowledge and science should complement each other. Why am I saying this? Is because surely research cannot happen in a vacuum. Research definitely has to start somewhere. And so it is the indigenous knowledge that we all possess is where the rich research that has been carried out in the whole world comes from. Because who gives, it cannot have happened in the vacuum. And so definitely that brings us to the point that indigenous traditional knowledge and science are complementary, and they complete each other rather than compete with each other. I always say there is no time for competition. There is only time to act. And actually, it is urgent that we work on climate change crises that are affecting us. Otherwise, we have nothing to give our children and our children's children. It is time to explore both traditional and scientific complementarity and document this for posterity. It is time to document traditional knowledge systems of addressing climate change, just the way we have volumes and volumes of scientific research data easily and readily available in libraries. But if you go to the same libraries and ask for any data concerning traditional knowledge, there's nothing. This is a chance, and this is the moment for us to act on that. And probably that's why we're here. It's an academy. an academy to actually bring indigenous knowledge to the forefront. Indigenous people should be seen as partners in the climate crisis through their traditional knowledge, rather than being as victims of evictions to pave way for the appetite of extractive industries and conservationists everywhere, and all the conservation efforts. Conservation wouldn't be, if you look at that, it's like there's a whole new scramble for indigenous people's land, for conservation, for extractive industries. If you go to my country, if you talk about SGR, if you talk about the Electrocana wind power, and all the new renewable energies that's happening right in our country, it's all happening in indigenous people's land. So why then can't we be seen as partners rather than victims to be evicted? It's also happening in Tanzania. Elifraha can tell you that. So indigenous people should be acknowledged as the repository of knowledge because of the vast land that they have. We can have food banks through their vast territories and food preservation knowledge and techniques, rather than being seen as recipients of food aid. Because during drought, Kenya had a very bad drought last year, and all that could have happened to us was we're being given aid left, right, and center. It makes me sick, because when I was a child growing up in northern Kenya, we survived on food aid from America. World Food Program coming to school to give us maize and beans. Yet we have so much land that we can actually cultivate our own food. This brings me to a point where Mohammed Amin, the biggest photographer, when he did the photos and of the emaciation and pain and hunger that was happening in Ethiopia, then Michael Jackson and all the musicians came along and did the song, you all know the song, We Are the World. And they brought all the food and contribution for southern Ethiopia. For your information, that was the last time that kind of food drive was ever done in Ethiopia, because the Ethiopians themselves came together and realized that they have a lot of land, but they just needed technology to plant their own food. If you go to that field today, it's a wheat flour of what we call teff, which makes injera, the main staple food of Ethiopia. And if only we can do that kind of thing, we will feed ourselves. We have land. We need technology. We have water. We have everything that we need to take care of ourselves. If only we have the right policies and the right leadership to be able to do that. I always see that as a very good example of what I know can be done in an African country to end hunger and poverty. Indigenous traditional knowledge and sciences in addressing climate change should complement each other. I already say that. I also want to acknowledge the efforts of all the IPs present in this workshop, as well as all the scientists present in this workshop, because if it were not for the work that we have done over the years, we have had IPs and traditional knowledge in the outcome documents in UNFCCC, the ABS, access to benefit sharing, the CBD that was being even presented today by Professor. So we have had a lot of way forward, so to speak, but it's not enough. We need to do more, and I think it's the reason why we're here. I just want to say that sometimes you look at it and you think there is no hope, or it's all dark. but I always have encouragement from the words of Desmond Tutu, the bishop, may the Lord rest his soul in eternal peace, from South Africa. And he won the Peace Award, and the press were coming and asking him, so every now and then you keep talking about hope, hope, hope. What is it that you keep talking about? He says, his answer was, no, I'm not just talking about hope. I am actually a prisoner of hope. So I just urge and call all of us to be prisoners of hope. Because indigenous people, what we need on the table more than anything in the menu is hope. Because we have so much to fight for, and we cannot sit. We must continue fighting, and we have hope that we shall succeed. And we thank God that we are in this building today, because we are talking about that, and we are in a Pontifical Academy where we know for sure this workshop will not go for nothing, will not come here for nothing, but we will be the group that will be the first and not the end to bring the issues of indigenous knowledge and science to marry each other and to complement with each other. Thank you very much.